The Amp Hour, brought to you by the Sirius Cybernetics Corporation.
Episode 42. Ham Spam. Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome to The Amp Hour. I'm Dave Jones from the EEV blog.
And I'm Chris Gamble from Chris Gamble's Analog Life.
Is there anyone else there?
Nope. Again, sorry, no Wozniak this time. Again. Sorry.
Fail. Second week in a row.
I know. If he's not going to be at ESC, he's probably not going to be in my basement.
Right, okay. Yeah, fair call.
Yeah.
How you doing, Chris?
I'm good. I should ask, since you asked, is there anyone else here? Are there any Australian national anthems being played before we started talking?
I'm afraid not. No.
Oh, okay.
No.
I guess I have the editorial reins again, huh?
I think you do. Sorry, I had to put it in. Somebody suggested that on Twitter. There was a bit of chatter going on Twitter about what I should put in there, and somebody said the national anthem. That'll piss Chris off.
I liked it. I wish you would have done something different on the back end.
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry. I thought I'd just play the whole thing. I was like, I was going to play Waltz in Matilda, but
what is that?
Cliche. Oh, it's a famous poem turned into a song here in Australia.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Well, that's good.
Maybe this week. Maybe I can add...
Who knows?
Waltz in Matilda by Rolf Harris.
You can hijack the podcast.
Right. Maybe I'll send it to you and you can... And maybe we should have Song of the Week.
Song of the Week. Boy, we can just be different every single time, Dave.
Can't have that.
Yeah.
Can't have variety on a radio show.
I know.
Let's jump straight into the shout-outs, shall we? Or do you want to talk, or do you want to recap your week? Because you're just back from California.
Well, yeah, I got back on Friday. I took the red-eye back. That was no fun.
Yep.
And I was deluded into thinking that I was going to actually do some work on Friday. I mean, I went to work, and it was a nice long slog to try and get through work. I got a little bit of work done, but boy, I was tired that day. Mostly, recapping for work, too.
So you flew back in Friday morning, did you? And then went straight to work.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That's bad. Why didn't you take the extra day off?
I should have.
Yeah, had an extra day in California, sunny California.
Yeah.
Now you're back in good old Cleveland, Ohio.
Hey, it's nice here now, but
right.
It was good. Okay. The rest of the week was real good. I mean, I met a lot of cool people, and right after we recorded, I actually went to a meetup, and that was cool. Met some cool people there.
Yep, so I heard.
Yeah, and rest of the week went well, too. I mean, lots of talking to vendors and going to some sessions and recording some video. So all in all, it was a real good time.
Good stuff. And next time you'll learn that you should take extra time off.
Next time I'll do that just for you, Dave. I'll sit on a beach somewhere and say, Dave told me to do this.
You can't sit on a beach. You got to do something tad more exciting like go to the HP garage.
You're right. I didn't go to that.
You didn't.
I didn't have a car.
Fail for the second time.
Sorry. Yeah.
Come on, there's 1,000 people at that conference. You could have just wandered up to a random person.
Stole the car.
Let's go to the HP garage.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a whole bunch of nerds there. They go, yeah, why not?
Yeah, maybe.
Someone's got to have a car. Come on.
Yeah, I took the train around there. That was nice. It was a nice little train system.
Yep.
I always like
trains.
Train's
fun. I do enjoy the train.
Yeah. But all in all, a good time. And we can get into the, ESC's over now. I'm into the next phase of my life.
Which is
the amp hour.
Same old, right?
Yeah.
Same old.
How about those shout outs you mentioned before?
Yeah, shout outs. What do we got? We've got there's a new podcast that you wanted to mention.
Yes, it's called Insight. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Insight, which is a scientific computing podcast. So not necessarily on the electronic side of things, but sometimes that kind of carries over. We've featured some out there podcasts before. But, they had two of the people that were real instrumental in the open source hardware license, Ayah and Alicia. They helped set up that conference I went to. Right. And so they were on there. That's how I heard about it. So they were on there talking about the license and everything. So I can link to that specific episode. But
okay.
Cool.
Isn't I read the Open Source Hardware Summit's on again?
It is, yeah.
Soon.
It is.
Shortly, somewhere in the US, I'm presuming.
I think it's same time, same place kind of thing.
Okay.
The weekend before Maker Faire New York, probably. Maybe not. I should probably verify that first, huh?
Right. And that is not spelt the usual way, Insight. It's INSCIGHT.
Yeah.
So,
that's right.
Goof that one up on Google.
Yeah. Or just click over to our website and you can see the stuff there. So.
Absolutely. Too easy.
Then we have two other people.
Jason.
Jason linked here.
Link to the site.
And he's
Jason Struble.
He's a real active Twitterer, and he's usually on our site too, and Strubo9 on Twitter. But he has a site of the same name now, strubo9.com. So he's jumping in and starting to document projects.
Good to see.
Yes. And one more, Steve Mackay. I think that's how you say it.
I think so. It's a double A.
Yeah, double A. It's a so his first initial and then his last name, and so it looks like his site is smackA.com.
SmackA.com. I love it.
Yeah, that's good.
Brilliant.
But yeah, he has some cool stuff on his site. He does some die cutting and a lot of hackerspace stuff from Edmonton.
Yep.
And good stuff. So thanks to everyone who linked here.
Thanks, Jason, Steve.
Yeah, we always appreciate that. Always like seeing our logo different places. So that's awesome. People link here. Thanks a lot.
And we have some news.
Yes.
That's the teletype coming through.
Yeah, we need to really get a sound clip for that.
Yeah, I know. I think so.
Yeah.
I put these two in.
Yeah.
Seed Studio, not to be confused with iTeed Studio, who we've talked about on here before.
Yep.
But Seed Studio have lowered their prices and changed all the the specs and things on their PCB prototypes. So apparently they're cheaper, faster, better, bigger, all that sort of good stuff. So
they're out of China, is that right?
Yes, they're out of China. So
yeah. Oh, they're the same people that do the DSO Nano.
DSO Nano and various other kits. Yeah, they're actually you can go to them if you've got an idea, a product idea. You can go to them and they will do everything for you and give you a cut of the product and sell the kit and all that sort of stuff. So
that's kind of cool.
So I believe, anyway.
Yeah. Huh. So these are kind of on the so let's see, $20 for 5x5 centimeters.
Yep.
Max. Oh, it's not too bad.
Awesome.
Is that for one board?
I think that's probably one off. I don't have the page open here, but anyway, go and check it out. There's a press release. The new Fusion PCB service.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Anyway, that leads us on to the next news item, which I just got in the inbox this morning. So it literally is just off the teletype. As I predicted way back when Element 14 bought Eagle, they're starting to integrate everything into it. Component purchasing and all that sort of stuff. Now they've integrated PCB prototyping service into Eagle. Shock horror. Big surprise, that one. They're using a company. Oh, geez, what's their name? Hang on. They are using...
the actual board company?
Yeah, the board company.
Oh, something with an X in
it. Here we go. Yeah, this is a fail. Yeah. I should have had the...
Probably could have just clicked on the press release, huh, Dave?
Well, yes, this is the rant I wanted to do. We'll talk about the PCB stuff in a minute once I find the bloody thing. But the rant is that Element 14... I didn't get the email from Element 14. I got it from their presumably public relations firm, PR firm, Walt & Company, they're called. And these idiots didn't even put a link to the press release in there so that media folk like us can actually
Are we media folk?
Oh, I guess.
I guess so, yeah.
We're rebel media.
Yeah, yes.
Pirate, skull and crossbones and all that sort of... pirate radio.
Yeah.
Anyway, the dickheads didn't put the link to the press release. What sort of freaking PR firm are they? They're paying...
They copy-pasted the press release? Is that what you're saying?
Probably, yeah. Well, it's in the email, which is fine, but that doesn't give, I can't email it to people.
Well, I think the idea is you're supposed to rewrite it, Dave, and then pass it off as your own.
Anyway, idiots. Yeah. They don't make it easy for us to link to this press release. So Element 14 are presumably paying this company a crap load, an absolute buttload full of money, I'm sure, to handle all their stuff like this. And they're adding no value. I do not see the value that these PR firms bring, right? Element 14 are trying to, with Eagle especially, they're trying to market the, the hobbyist, hacker, maker, low-end community. They're all going to be following your blog. They're all going to be following various blogs and radio shows like the Amp Hour and all sorts of other stuff. They're going to find out about this. It will naturally, within a few days, word will spread that there's this new service out there building. They don't have to spend a cent publicising this.
It's just the old model. That's the problem.
I know. And it pisses me off.
No. Well, it's, we have to deal with this more than, most people do, right? I mean, not necessarily. I mean, people might still get the email, but email marketing is still a big deal. I don't know about the whole.
Well, it is, but they could have sent it themselves, or they could have just had an email list which people sign up to for Eagle News. That's it. I can set one of those up in 2 minutes, and I'm not a Linux penguin. It's not hard.
That's right. You are not. You've said that many times over.
Absolutely. Goodness sake. It's not hard. You don't need to spend a cent on these stupid PR firms. Give me a break.
To be honest, Dave, it worked. I mean, no offense, but
well,
it works for you. I mean, you're talking about on the Amp Hour.
You got me riled up, right?
Yeah. Maybe that's why they do it.
Anyway, should we talk about PentaLogics? There you go.
Yep, that's it.
PentaLogics, their PCB fabrication service. They're an American company, presumably, because the boards are made in the US. Well, there's a whole bunch of things. They can be made in US or China, depending on what type you want and, speed and all that sort of stuff. So, anyway, apparently it's all built into Eagle now. I presume you have to download the latest version again, and it gives you a quote directly in the program or something. I haven't tried it, so if you've got Eagle, go out there and give it a try and let us know in the comments.
Yeah, definitely.
Does it suck or does it work? And I don't think it's not Seed Studio or IT Studio type prices or PCB cart type prices. I think they're a little bit higher than that, but
more like Advanced Circuits or someone else like that kind of stuff, something. Or Sunstone.
Yep. So,
I mean, this is probably more for hey, there it is. I'll just click this and go. That kind of idea.
Yep. Absolutely. Whereas if you're a hobbyist and you're trying to save every last cent, then you probably won't use it. So
I don't know. It seems like it's not that hard really to get that last step going. Like
no, it's not.
To click send. I don't think it's. I mean, it's cool that it's integrated. I'm sure they're going for very full vertical integration. All the way down to like the board assembly eventually. But they're just talking about the board right now, right?
They're just talking about the blank board, but assembly will be next. Absolutely.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And,
I mean, can't hold against them. That's probably what they thought when they were buying Eagle in the first place. So,
of course, no, that was in the plan from day one. Yeah, guarantee it. The first one was to integrate the parts purchasing. Second one's to get bare board manufacture. Next step will be 3D. Next step will be. The second one of the steps in there will be 3D modeling of all components and everything like that. Although does Eagle do 3D yet? I think it does through a third-party package or something. Anyway, they'll probably buy an add-on package to do it. So you'll eventually get that for 3D assembly. So every single component in the Farnell libraries will have 3D models, and boom, it'll all download and it'll all be lovely, which is I'm a huge fan of that. And then they'll do, they've now got the bare board manufacture. Next step will be the assembly, and the third step will be complete turnkey solution. You just send them the schematic, and somebody will probably lay out the board for you even. So,
The only thing I hope they don't do is, if they separate or if they lock it up so that you can only get through, like if they ever took away Eagle's output ability to like send out Gerbers, that would be the only bad side. But
they can't. They'd go out of business overnight.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So they offer the path for people if they want this one-click solution, and then if not, then they...
If not, it's just an extra service which they offer. And they're trying to get the whole shebang there.
Yeah.
Good
and
luck
I should
to
mention
them,
that I was at ESC for Element 14, but I really didn't know about this until today, so...
there you go.
No conflict of interest, hopefully. People don't think that,
Right.
Always trying to strike that balance of, Anyway.
I'm completely independent.
Yeah.
I haven't been paid by them, so I can call them dickheads. If I like, because I still hate the Element 14 side. It's still the worst out. And, actually, no. I think Element 14 might have a contender for crappiest integrated community website. Guess who the winner might be?
Who's that?
My former employer, Altium.
Oh, okay.
If you've been to the creatively titled Altium Live website.
Nice.
Oh my, it's just yeah. I just shake my head every time I look at it. It's just no, it's a fail on pretty much every level, including their forum, which is one of the worst forums probably on the internet. So because they're trying to build it from scratch. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's just madness.
Well, I will say I did talk to some people about that because I was there for them, and I was saying, I don't like their site. I don't like anyone who uses that kind of, National Instruments uses that too, and Renesas used it, and I complained to them too. Yeah. And it's just like they said, to Element 14's credit, they said if you don't like it, write to our director or whoever else and just tell them you don't like it, and people could do that if they want to. I would hope they would do that on their own, but, it's understandable if they hear a lot of complaining, but mostly they're just going to see people drop off, I think, so.
Yeah. I mean, here we are talking about it on the Amp Hour, the biggest electronics radio show in the world, and we're saying it's shit. Yeah, we are universally
get two of the loudest
agreed.
Members, at least. Yeah.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
But no, everyone you talk to says it's a crap. Jerry said it's crap, and Jeff has said it's crap, and, all of the leading people out there who are in the know in this sort of stuff are telling you it's crap. So, Element 14, get yourself a real forum, for goodness sake. Once again, I'm not a Linux penguin, but I can install one in 5 damn minutes. Okay?
Yep.
My EEV blog forum is 20 times bigger than yours will ever be, and it requires no input. It's zero cost, required no input. It's community taken care of. And community moderated, and And
I like it. I love EEV blog forum.
Yeah, it's simple. It's just a generic BBS forum.
Yeah.
It is a simple machines forum, but there's vBulletin out there. Are you listening Altium as well? There's vBulletin. There's
really all tech companies.
PHP,
yeah, they try and do this all integrated thing where there's blogs
all
and everything
integrated
else.
Altium Live, and your license is integrated into it, and they're getting into the same thing. They think that you will want to. Everyone in the electronics design community will join, and they'll be all talking to each other, and they'll swap libraries, and then you'll be able to get quotes online, similar to Element 14, to be able to get your blank boards assembled, and it'll be integrated into the purchasing and assembly process and all that sort of stuff, and it's just not going to work.
Yeah.
Sorry. Anyway, this sort of stuff just ticks me off. It really does. All these people think that they can, that everyone in the whole world is going to join their silly little system, and what can you say? It's just hopeless.
I could say I hope they fix it, because, well, that's not our job.
Anyway. And these companies put so much time and effort into these systems, and they're just fundamentally flawed. They're never going to work. Yeah. So, you will never ever get one big portal or community website for everyone in the industry. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
So, never has, never will.
I agree.
Anyway. And companies like Altium are practically betting the whole company on it again,
One thing I wanted to bring up about that, I won't talk about it much here, but I wondered if people from the Amp Hour, if they wanted to see a Facebook page. I saw this study today about how people get more news from Facebook than Twitter. I understand that. I'm just wondering if you could leave in the comments. If you want to see a Facebook page, we'll make one. I don't know how active it'll be, but it's not a hard thing to do, and, we'd love to hear from you guys. So if that's easier to talk back to us, just let us know. I would appreciate it.
Yep, sure. We can set one up. No problems. I set one up for the blog, for the EEV. Yeah. Actually, I had several aborted attempts at it because Facebook is so shit in the way it, do you have do you have it as a person, as a public figure? Do you have it as a fan page? Do you have it as a like a company like page, which is eventually what I went with, because I think that's the proper way to do it in quote marks. I don't. Anyway,
we'll figure that out, though. People don't have to worry. I mean, our listeners don't have to worry about that. We'll worry about that stuff. We're just wondering
we'll have one page and that'll be it.
People actually care.
Actually, you don't join it. You like a page now. And that's what you do. You don't follow or, you like it. And anyway, I do get quite a few hits every day from the Facebook page. So it does seem to work. I've only got like 400 or 500 likes or something.
Yeah.
So far. Now, I started off, I thought, well, I should have not only the announcements on there of new shows, right? Every episode, every blog post, it gets automatically announced and fed through onto Facebook, which is great. But I thought, well, people want to hear what I've got to say as well, because that's
usually
that's usually why they sign up. They like to hear what I want to say. So I thought I would push my tweets onto the Facebook page as well. And it turns out I had complaints about that. People said, I don't want to hear your tweets. I don't want to hear your little comments. I just want to get your announcements. And, well, okay.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. It's a different kind of way of receiving news. So I get that.
I guess. So I stopped doing that unless it was a very important tweet that I thought should go onto Facebook. So in my little tweet deck program I use, I've got an option to either just put it on Twitter or put it on Twitter and Facebook. So I occasionally make the odd comment to Facebook. But apart from that, no, it's just not product announcements. Geez. New episode announcements, and that's it. So tell us, do you want that we're probably going to do a Facebook page for the show, I guess. Why not? Doesn't take much effort. And would you like to see just that, or would you like to get our tweets as well?
Yeah.
Or do you just want a ping every time a new episode pops up?
Well, any feedback's good.
Yeah.
And speaking of feedback, we did actually hear last week from so remember we were talking about the Google Hackerspace? Do you remember that? So, and we asked, we don't know if there's any Google listeners out there, and we do have one. So, Ian.
Oh, we do?
Yeah, Ian from Google. So, thanks, Ian.
Awesome. G'day, Ian.
Yeah, he's from Australia, too.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, all right.
So he's in the Googleplex here in Sydney, is he?
I guess so. I didn't know they had one there.
Right. Okay. I've got the embedded director at Altium moved to Google just last month. So,
cool.
G'day. Sure he's not listening, but anyway.
Now, how often do people say g'day? Is that like a common thing?
Yeah, it's pretty common.
Yeah?
Yep, absolutely.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have that in the U.S. We have, what's up?
Howdy?
Howdy,
well,
yeah.
Howdy.
Howdy. Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Howdy, my name's Jeb.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. I love it. Yeah, it's fairly common here. It's more common in some areas than not, so, yeah.
Yeah, like howdy is common in the South, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe,
so it's
maybe. I don't know about that one.
I love it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So this week, I know it's not like a big topic of ours, but I this might be a bigger part of my life now. Maybe. I don't want to speak about it too much because, I have to do instead of talk, right, Dave? But I've been looking into getting a ham license. Are you ham licensed?
No, I'm not.
No,
it's never really... No, the whole ham radio thing never really interests me at all. RF, I'm not an RF guy. I've said that before.
Yeah, and that's what kind of got me into it.
Doesn't interest me.
I was looking at it last night. I'm like, I want to build radios, because RF and radio type stuff, it's strikingly simple looking, but quite
exactly
very, very difficult when you get down to it, right? It's a lot more.
Yeah, the physics behind it and the theory behind it, it can get very complex.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, I got to start buying inductors,
Right?
Not just
you got to wind your own, dude.
Well, that too, right? I mean, but it's like not just for noise suppression anymore, right? I mean,
no, exactly. No, it's for.
I do a lot. That's the thing. I do a lot of DC stuff usually, and so
same
RF's a whole new a new thing. And then I was talking to Jeff Kaiser last night, because he's done RF in the past, and he was telling me that, if you're building these circuits, you really better get ham licensed, right? And so that kind of kicked off this whole thing. And then today, I just kept seeing all these stories. I think I was talking about it on Twitter yesterday, and so that kind of like sent people some stories. Some people sent stories to me and stuff, but I just keep seeing things pop up. So that's why a lot of the stuff on our list this week is ham-based, but it's not necessarily, we don't have to talk about it. But
right.
Man, yeah, I've never really done RF stuff before, so hopefully I'll be getting into that soon. And, it's kind of...
Well, I've done RF before, but I don't have a big interest in it, so I wouldn't go out and design a radio or something like that. But I've done it where required. So
why not a big interest in it?
I don't know. It just doesn't fascinate me. How do you
really
explain that you don't have an interest in something?
That's true.
I don't find it interesting. I mean,
explain yourself, Mr. Jones.
That's right.
Yeah. No, you're right. That's the silly thing to ask, but.
I don't have to explain that.
The ham things. So, like, the ham thing seems like there's two sides of it, right? There's some people that just, like, buy radios and just, talk to each other over ham band, right? And then there's the other group that actually build it. And I definitely want to be in that second group. If I do it at all, I want to be in that second group.
Right. Well, there's those that restore them as well. There's a huge...
That's true, yeah. One of my friends at work does that.
Even here in Australia, there's a massive community of people who restore vintage radios and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Although that's not ham, that's...
Right.
Although it's RF, it's still...
Yeah, it's receivers and stuff.
Anything radios,
Yeah.
And as the ham guys say, anything less than a gigahertz is DC.
Really?
So,
crap.
Anything under a gig is DC.
Oh, man. All right, well.
Yeah, they're the real hardcore ones.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
That's right.
And, there's a lot of resources, not just resources, but like podcasts out there. There's a lot of podcasts. I thought it was just solder smoke out there.
Tons.
But I was on lowswr.com today, and they have this list of probably 15 podcasts on there. So it's pretty crazy. I mean, like, there's a lot of chatter out there, I guess, about it. And I don't want to be a ham podcast either, because there are so many, right? I like the electronic side of things. That's what I want to do. But, if I need a ham license in order to start cranking out some signal, then I'll do that.
Right.
So, interestingly, too, last thing about ham, there was a show... I was kind of like working through, like you get on like strings of thoughts and you kind of just pop through different websites. Anyway, so from that low SWR thing, I went to twit.tv, right? So that's Leo Laporte. And they were actually talking to Bob Heil, who is this microphone guy. He makes Heil sound microphones or something like that. And so these badass microphones. Well, it turns out, though, that Leo and this guy Bob are going to start doing a podcast about ham as well. So that means on Twit. Yeah, so they're going to start having a really wide audience for... How
many shows a day does Leo do?
Oh, he does a lot.
Is he actually going to be on the show?
Yeah, it's going to be him, because Leo is he's a broadcaster, and he's got his license too, and Bob's got his license.
Right, I didn't know he was actually a ham, right.
Yeah. And get this, too, so Joe Walsh of the Eagles, Life's Been Good, that song and everything, when he went solo... So he's a ham too, and so he wrote the theme song for this new show. How cool is that? We need someone like that, right?
We need to get a member of the Eagles, or maybe one of the last remaining Beatles or something to write us up.
I hope some of them do electronics as a hobby, because otherwise, that's but yeah. So apparently,
that'd be fantastic.
The Eagles were like,
if you are a big, huge celebrity. Muso, please write in and write us an intro theme.
If you happen to be famous and a huge nerd, like us. Because Lord knows my theme song's getting tired. Dave's already put the Australian theme song on a couple times now, so... Yeah, so it's...
that's brilliant.
Yeah, it's interesting. And Leo, I mean, not to talk about Leo all the time, too, but they've got a new studio, too, and, man... Their new studio looks amazing. I hold Leo very highly, because it's like where podcasting could go. Not necessarily for us, because our audience is probably a little smaller than his ever could be.
Orders of magnitude,
smaller. But I mean, his studio looks amazing. He's building it from scratch. So I'll post a link to it. There's a video, and people who know anything about studios and man, just like they show his little, like the equivalent space of his current studio inside of this huge new studio, and it's just like it's probably like 1/6 of the floor space. It's unbelievable. So, and that's where Jerry was supposed to go be on, start a show there or something.
Well, he offered her the basement. Yeah. So down to the basement, Jerry. He offered her free reign of the entire basement or something for her workshop, and she could do a show or whatever. And I think she just politely turned it down or something. But no, it was certainly offered there.
Yeah,
and,
so that'd be cool if she's ever on there. I mean, like she's real famous on there. They all love her, so that's a good a good window into the electronics community if she gets on there. So that'd be great.
Yep. We've got there's another contest happening.
There is, yeah, and this is actually one that we've talked about before.
We have Touchstone Semiconductor. They're new startup, and they've got this new 0.8 volt, 0.6 microamp whiz bang op amp. That's their only product. I believe.
Super tiny. That is the only one for now, yeah.
Yep. And it's in like a little SC70, 5-pin SC70 package.
Yeah.
And they've got a design contest, win $1,000. Oh, well, that's all right, I guess.
Yeah.
And
it's funny, they have on their site, they say, first prize $1,000, runners up, nothing. Sorry, we're a startup. That's what they said. So
right.
if it's good, it better be really good.
I love it. Yeah. Anyway, they've run the contest, and you've got to create something with their TS1001 op amp. But the conditions are that the circuit, I presume the entire circuit, must operate on 0.8 volts or less.
Yes, very tiny.
Well, or less. Well, does this op amp go below 0.8 as well?
Do they say below? Less? No,
they say...
That thing goes from 0.8 up to 2.5 volts, I think.
Well, they're saying 0.8 volts or less. So
less. Maybe that's a typo.
I think maybe it is. Anyway, and you've got to use less than 5 microamps of current. And once again, they don't specify. They've goofed it again. They don't specify the voltage at that current is drawn.
I see it there.
Is it
okay.
0.8? Is it it's power? You can't just say, 5 microamps. Well, if you step it up to 2,000 volts, then 5 microamps is a fair bit, right?
Yeah,
so a fair bit of power. So, I think they need to be a bit.
Okay.
Yes, it's all
I don't get how they can go less than 0.8 volts, right? I mean, I understand the 5 microamps. So we're saying 5 microamps versus 0.6 microamps. So you can do up to 6 times the supply.
Well, yes. So you've got that extra current available for the rest of your circuitry because the op amp draws 0.6 at 0.8 volts.
Yeah.
So,
that is tiny.
They're allowing you to have 5 microamps for your entire circuit. But once again, they don't specify the voltage it's at, which is silly. I mean, anyway, I think they've goofed their
maybe they'll have to give a look at that. They heard from a bunch of people from the Amp Hour. Actually, I talked to some of them, and they said, "Oh yeah, people heard about the part on the Amp Hour, and so that's cool." That's why we started Part of the Week, actually, or Chip of the Week. Hopefully we can showcase some new parts that people like, and because it's hard to hear about new parts too. That's the reason we started that too. But so hopefully they'll hear this and touch up their contest rules or figure it out.
Well, and there's another thing they need to fix up is their is rules.
Always the problem.
Rule number 5. Here it is. No surprise. Design submittals become the property of Touchstone Semiconductor. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, but stick it up your ass.
Yeah.
You can quote me on that.
And that's the same thing that Jerry went through with the Renesas thing. And
that's right. And they were smart enough to apologise and say, oops, sorry, no, we'll change that.
And I think that was
just our legal people going stupid.
Right. I think that's what it is. It's just a standard legalese thing. And, we don't want people to claim it back and start, making products out of it. But really, I mean, design submittals, rule number 5, design submittals become the property of Touchstone Semiconductor. And
that's not even in the fine print. They've got number 9 down there, which is the fine print. Yeah. So that's like a headline thing, Well,
and the thing that's weird is number 6 on here is you agree to let us publish any part of your design on our website and blah, 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 right?
And, that's pretty standard.
And this hold harmless. But that should be enough, right? I mean,
exactly. That should be plenty.
It's your circuit, whatever. You can do whatever you want with it, but it's out there, so it doesn't matter at that point. So why Unless they mean like the physical, but I don't know. I don't think they actually make you submit the actual design, like the actual entire.
The
like
physical thing that you built.
No,
but they're clearly talking about the intellectual property, the actual design itself. So if you come up with something clever, it becomes their property. Well, that's just bullshit.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it's probably so they could push it into data sheets and everything else. And I mean, I understand it. It's like they're like, oh, well, we don't want you to come back and say you owe us royalties, right? That's what they don't want.
Yeah, I know, but for goodness sake, come on.
Right.
People would be thrilled to have their circuit in your data sheet.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what they should do is instead take away Rule 5, right? And then they say you agree to let us publish it wherever we want, and then just say the data sheet, and then just give credit to whoever circuit it is. And
yeah, exactly.
That would be the win right there. I think that would be the best case.
Absolutely.
So, unless they have a lot of lawyer pushback, which is, that's their own problem.
Yeah. Well, actually, they could have a rule which says you must open source your design.
Oh, another good one.
That'd be awesome. So then they
thing.
would be legally free to use it in their data sheet, and all they have to do is credit you, and that's it.
That's great.
Right? Yeah. Problem solved. All the legal stuff is all taken care of.
I like it, Dave. That's a good call. Hopefully they'll do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I wonder how that works. I mean, so if you're a designer, right? I mean, because I use a lot of reference designs, right? If you copy it verbatim, you don't have to credit the person, do you? I mean, you credit the company.
No, you don't credit the company at all.
So is that licensed in any way, or is it just owned and
reference designs are free to use. They become public domain.
So how is this any different than if you design a circuit with this new part and then it goes into their data sheet and it's public domain?
And then unless said so otherwise, yes, you've effectively given it away. You've effectively made it public domain.
I mean,
once it hits that data sheet as an application.
Yeah. You're not going to patent it because they're going to publish it. So
no, exactly.
Yeah. Anyways, hopefully they'll touch that up and
no pun intended.
Touchstone.
Ka-ching.
Yeah, and you had something else on here about design contests. So
yes, that
first
leads
off,
me down to the.
We should mention your triumphant win, right?
Oh yes, I did. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you didn't put that on there.
Got third. I didn't put it on here. No, It is a news item. I won third place in the Tektronix oscilloscope contest, whatever it's called, Tektronix scope or something.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much to everyone who voted. Woohoo! Third place.
Yes.
I think they disqualified somebody in first or second.
No.
Second place, because I'm sure I was fourth, and there were two front runners, and only one of them got a prize.
Dave gave an anonymous tip about it.
They must have been disqualified.
I guess so. That's too bad.
So thank you. So I win a Tektronix 2000 series scope.
Cool, that's great.
And I'll have to do a review of it.
That'll be great.
The problem is. Here's I may as well rant about this as well. Tektronix have been caught so much with their pants down by the Agilent scope release that they've got nothing. Like, they've got nothing to compete with anymore. They've slashed their prices by up to 50%, and they still can't even compete. And, I don't know what my review of this Tektronix scope's going to be like. I think it'll come down to, it's a nice scope 5 years ago.
It is an older scope too, right?
Sorry?
It is an older scope that they're giving away, right?
Well, it is an older... it's a, I don't know, three-year-old model, perhaps. I don't know when it actually came out, but it's only got 2.5K of memory. It's pathetic. Like, it's not a bad scope otherwise, but got 2.5K of memory is like 10-year-old type technology. It's
maybe
really...
review it and they'll send you top of the line to review that instead.
Right, the new MSO one. Well, if I won first place, I would have got the MSO, which is the new one with 1 mega memory.
If you would have gotten more votes.
Yeah. So, sorry in advance, Tektronix. You make great scopes, but this one just can't compete. So I can tell you now, it's going to get a thumbs down for value for money. I mean, without even thinking about it. So,
I mean, what do you mean you got it for free?
Yeah, exactly. But
value for money? Infinity.
Even if they paid me, I still give it a thumbs down.
Yeah. Oh, well. It's
anyway.
Who won that contest, though? Wasn't it? I recall it being not that great of an entry.
It was the chick. Yes, yes, boobs won again. Yep.
Oh, well.
Yep. Yeah, you can't compete against boobs.
I didn't think it was that good of an entry, to be honest. I mean,
I
thought there were some other better entries than yours, too, no offense. But,
no, there's better entries than mine. But mine just used the scope It didn't rely on any third party. Like someone built a scanning electron microscope,
which
or something,
is awesome.
How do you compete against that? And that actually brings me into the thing I wanted to talk about, which was talking about this on the forum, actually, the EEV blog forum. In fact, the girl who won that contest, somebody in the forum complains that she was spamming them to vote for her. So they don't even know where she got their email address from. So anyway, let's not go there.
Sour grapes here, people.
Nah, not at all.
Anyway.
Good luck to her. I hope you, Iona or something her name is. Maybe she listens. I don't know. Congratulations, you won your... I hope you use it well.
Sour grapes.
Nah, not at all.
Yeah.
No, I won a scope. It's cool.
That is cool. Yeah.
Very happy. Where is it? I wrote it on here somewhere.
24.
24. Oh, God. Is it that far up the list?
Yeah.
Okay. An interesting observation that, well, I guess everyone's aware of as well, as most of these type of design contests seem to be won by the most advanced and refined project. So, which is not very surprising at all.
No,
right?
not at all.
If you've got a scanning electron microscope, right, you're probably going to win, right? Because that is super cool.
Yeah.
But typically you didn't develop that just for the contest, right? You might have been working on that for years and years. And so you actually have an inherent advantage over the people who just see the contest and go, oh, I'll just design something quickly for the contest. Mm-hmm. So not that there's anything wrong with that. That's just the way of the world, I guess. But it's just an interesting observation that I've found over the years, that a lot of these contests are won by these projects which weren't developed just for the contest. You know, people have been working on them for years and they've got a robot or something, you know.
Okay, yeah.
And I think that's the same thing with the 555 contest, isn't it? Wasn't the winner a guy who's been doing robots?
Tom Jenner's been doing...
as part of the TAFE course,
that kind of thing for a while, yeah. And
so it's all fully documented, it's all developed, debugged, and...
Well, no, he made new circuits for the contest, but they were, I mean...
Yeah.
He's very experienced with the 555, right? And I think that's true for a lot of them, right? But like you said, it's got the most polish. I mean...
Yep,
so
that's right. And the RX design contest, which I was judging. The winners have been announced, and the winner was the Nimble Sig 3 RF generator. Go check it out. It's super cool.
Yeah, I heard about that.
But this guy, and it got my top marks as well, because we had to score each one, and it came out top on my list, and I guess it came out top on the others, so it won.
Yeah.
Because it is highly refined. If you want to see some cool RF stuff,
go check that out.
Go check out that design, because this guy's been developing that for years. He won, I think, second place in another contest, won a circuit seller contest with the same project. It was the Nimble Sig 2. This is the third one, I think, and I'm sure I've seen him enter it in another contest as well. Anyway, that doesn't take away from how cool it is, but the fact is he's spent years developing and refining this project to the point where, it is super cool.
Yeah, and you know, that's the problem with, I mean,
how do you
think about working even, though? I mean, like, when people scan resumes, right, they're looking for experience. They're looking for expertise in a very specific field. So if you're working on design, if you're a board designer, right, and you want to go work for Altium, they're going to make sure that you've used Altium and that you've designed thousands of boards before, right? Because that's going to be the best fit. So, I mean, I understand that, but like if you're designing something that you're good at, then you're just going to make the shiniest one of those and enter that in the contest. So, makes sense.
Yeah, of course. It's just a natural, thing, really. Maybe this touchstone contest will be different because you can't just enter your robot or something else. You know, it's an op amp that very specific niche thing.
Very
How many
low power.
people have developed something that works at 0.8 volts under?
Oof. We'll find out.
6 microamps. We'll find out. Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, if you have and you've polished something, then you've got a huge advantage. You'll probably win the $1,000. But
yeah.
And I just thought that was an interesting thing. I mean, it's just the way it is. If you've been working on something cool for years, you should enter these contests because you got a really good chance.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's really no downside. I mean,
no,
if they charge you to enter the contest, but then they'd have a lot less entries in the first place, right? So,
yep, that's right.
Yeah. That's a cool way to show off, though. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of showing off, have you seen these Intel blokes and their showy new 3D features on silicon? Have you heard about this?
No, do tell.
So Intel is they just announced their 22 nanometer node. I think it was at ESC. It might have been just at the same time, not necessarily at the show, because I don't know if they were there. But yeah, they're going to a 3D transistor. So. Yep. It's a little bit of PR hype because they said it's huge news and we're reinventing the transistor, but really what they're doing is they're taking the gate on a transistor, which is one of the defining feature sizes, and they're shrinking it to 22 nanometers. That's the next process node. But in doing so, they're actually raising it up off the bed of silicon, so it's not a flat thing anymore where electrons would flow underneath the oxide gate. Now it's actually the whole gate is raised up and it's like it's like a speed bump now. So the channel is like a speed bump.
That'd just drop the performance, I would have thought, unless they can stack them.
Well, no, what they do is since you raise it up, you have a lot more surface area now, right? So if you go from
right,
you have to kind of think of it.
So
you have to visualize it in your head.
It raises up and then overlaps other transistors. Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, so if you think of the transistor as like a 1 foot wide line on a pavement, right? And then so that's actually where then you're gonna put a piece of crossbeam across that, right? So the crossbeam is actually activating that one line on the pavement. This is horrible for radio, right? But basically the idea is now that 1 foot line is now maybe raised up another foot out of the pavement. So if you think about that increase in surface area now, right, you have a lot more surface area for the same cross-section.
I'm sorry, I don't see where the extra surface area comes from.
You know what? Here, this will help you. We're going to post a link to pictures, and they actually have some really good pictures and showing the difference between the two. It's from ZDNet. So Intel went to 3D, and they'll show it here where they can actually shrink the width down and get actually more surface area. So
okay.
It's interesting.
So it's not the fact that it's a multi-layer thing where transistors are stacked. Okay,
no.
That's what I first imagine when I hear it's a 3D.
Oh, okay, yeah.
3D integrated circuit. They're stacking multiple.
Right, and that's actually
layers.
a really hard problem because when you do that, when you have like silicon. And then you try and stack another piece of silicon on top.
And then you have an insulator, and then you have another bit of silicon.
Yeah, you'd have to drill down through, like, the differences in, like, thicknesses is so great from, like, where you're actually processing the top of the silicon to get to the bottom of that wafer. It'd be like drilling to the center of the earth kind of thing. Not the center of the earth, but some very large distance down, like a couple miles down. Yeah. That would be the other side of the earth, but okay. But yeah, so it's really interesting how they're doing it. I mean, but I kind of was put off by the press release because it was a press release. They're just doing what they have to do. They're just marching along thanks to, Moore's Law. They're doing what they have to do because if they didn't, someone else would.
That's right.
And a lot of the other fabs are doing that now, too. They're working on FinFETs as another one. And, it's a big deal.
There's tons of them.
Yeah. There's a big deal, and it's cool that they're doing it, but it's like they're doing it because they have to. They got to keep making money. If they don't, they're going to stop making money. So, cool news. People should check out the pictures. We'll definitely post that. They're pretty awesome.
Excellent. Should we do chip of the week?
The first chip of the week, sure. Let's go for it. Do you want to go first?
Which one are we going to do? Yours or mine?
We both have one. Well, mine was on there first.
So there's going to be two chips of the week?
Oh, okay. Mine was on there first.
Well, technically, we've already had a chip of the week.
That doesn't
Touchstone
count.
one.
Oh, I guess we did, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we mentioned a chip, so it's...
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
There's no reason we can't have more than one chip of the week,
We'll go back through
right?
and put the sound in there, right? Well, chip of the week. I feel
with
bad.
Reverb.
Yeah, I really don't do that anymore, do I?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, what happened to that? Wow. That was a very short-term...
I switched around so many.
You had with your new little doodad box.
I know.
Did all the sound effects.
I know.
Novelty's worn off, huh?
No, I've been pissed at it. I've been so angry at this thing. I want to throw it on the ground already, but it's all my fault.
What did it do?
It's my fault, really. It's just my frustration. Anyway.
Oh, okay. So it didn't fail, or it's playing up? No,
I'm using it right now. It's just I've had other things going on. So maybe in between getting my ham license, if I do that, I'll also, get this rig up and working.
Right.
So, chip of the week. Here we go. You okay with doing mine this week?
Yeah, go.
Okay. I think this thing's really cool. So it's from, there's an Electronics Weekly article I saw, and it's for the LTC 4000, right? And so it's basically...
Nice round number.
Yeah, nice round. So it means they're probably jumping into a whole new arena or something, right? Because I don't know why they wouldn't have done 4000 in the first place. But basically what they do is, so we got to step back and look at DC to DC converters. And you probably use those all the time, right, Dave?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So there's all those different like buck and boost and buck boost. Basically, they basically going from one DC voltage to another DC voltage by switching. People know that one. Yep. And this is instead of having linear regulators or switching regulators. So a lot of the LT regulators and even companies outside of LT, they'll have what's called a compensation pin. And basically what that is that when you're doing a switching regulator, you need to have feedback back into the circuit so this little tiny chip knows what's going on in the inductor and in the capacitors and all that.
And it can continually compensate the output by the form of loop.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's a loop bandwidth thing, right? So people set this with a capacitor, or resistor, and you set up time constants in order to have so that your power supply doesn't oscillate. And you'll also calculate it based on loads and all those wonderful, equations that they give you in the data sheets. I love data sheets so much for that kind of thing. Yep. It's like a cookbook, it's awesome.
It is.
Yeah. Anyways, so this new chip, really cool. Basically, they're saying that this new chip can make any DC to DC regulator into a battery charger, which is pretty cool. Yep. And here's why it's cool. So here's why it's cool to me. Batteries basically like seeing voltage sources or current sources depending on what stage of the charge cycle they're in. So I think they like current sources to start with, and then once they get to a certain capacity, they like voltage sources.
That depends on the battery topology and all sorts of stuff.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know that, so I just learned that. So,
and then you've got to have temperature sensing of the battery and all sorts of stuff as well.
Yeah. So,
because you can determine the end. The end cutoff point of the various charge cycles depend on the temperature of the battery in some technologies. So
so you can keep really healthy batteries over the life of the battery, right? So you don't overcharge and undercharge it, because that's why a lot of people complain about lithium ions, how they die, or even any kind of battery, how they have that memory and everything. So there's a lot of chips out there that try and monitor this stuff, and you have to sometimes buy a whole separate charging circuit just for your battery. Well, this thing basically does all that monitoring, and then it uses that compensation pin that we talked about on the DC to DC converter, and it uses that as a little knob in order to control the output of the DC to DC converter into the battery.
Well, here's my view on this one.
Okay.
It's really only of use for really your more obscure high power stuff, I think, because if it's low power, if it's just something that can be handled by a regular off-the-shelf charging chip, you'd be crazy to use this one.
That's true.
It's not a universal solution because it's complicated. If you have a look at what's involved in the chip and what's required,
it is complicated.
It requires it's got no built-in FETs.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got to use external FETs. You've got to have an external DC to DC converter chip, right, which will cost you another couple of bucks, or might even cost you $10 or something like that. So it's whereas you can buy a 50-cent charger chip that's all integrated and is just specifically designed for your cell topology.
Yeah. I mean,
so if you've got a lithium polymer battery, you can buy a little microchip 5-pin lithium polymer battery charger chip for 50 cents, right?
Right. So this is
overkill. It's like the sledgehammer approach.
Right. So this is they're probably targeting cars and all that crazy stuff, right?
They're targeting big stuff, I think.
Yeah.
So
but still, I think it's cool. I just like how they yank on the compensation pin. I think that's really cool. That's the part that I geek out about.
That's the cool feature.
Yeah.
And it's really... Yeah, I think people will use this as sort of a last resort device when you can't find a specific chip to do the job.
Or you got a really crazy battery or something, right? Or you're going to switch out batteries.
And because maybe you don't want to risk that part going out of, going obsolete because it's a very specific, niche chip. Whereas this is a more general purpose solution, which presumably it should stick around a lot longer and et cetera, et cetera. But I don't know.
So it's $5 on top of a DC to DC converter, depending on what you're using.
Well, $5 is a lot, right? For charging a battery, that's a lot of cost, right? This chip's not cheap.
No, definitely not for not consumer kind of stuff. I mean, you could charge a battery with a diode, basically, right? I mean, you just dump charge in, and then once the battery's charged,
you can charge it with an LM317 constant current. Two LM317s can charge lead acid battery, for example.
Okay.
You can charge a lead acid with a constant current source, LM317 in series with a constant voltage source.
Yeah.
So, you know.
So yeah,
which, but that's the whole solution that costs 30 cents.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a crazy. It's more for crazy situations, but
it's more for crazy situations. Yeah. It's very cool.
I like it. All right, how are we doing on time? I think we got 5 minutes left.
5 minutes left. Okay, we'll save my chip for next week then.
Okay.
Anyway, I can't have 2 chip of the weeks.
Oh no, definitely not.
That's probably a bit too much.
Yeah.
All right.
So how about
mine is a hangover.
Here's one. This will get some good ranting, right?
Rant.
Number
5-minute rant.
21 on the list. Here we go.
21 on the list.
So I saw this thing a couple weeks ago. It's from Sheltonier. is one of the guys on Twitter, and he posted this. It's from Omaha.com, and it was basically at the University of Nebraska at Lincoln, so UNO. They're trying to say that engineering tuition should be higher than an English major's tuition, for example, because engineering majors make more money after school. Holy crap.
Well, they're a bunch of dickheads because they could have just used the obvious reason why it should be more expensive, because
we're awesome?
No, EE requires, but EE requires
more
labs
more
and
gear.
Parts and gear and, all sorts of stuff. They have a higher, a cost to run those courses than, just reading Shakespeare or something, right?
Yep.
Exactly. There's massive costs which go into maintaining laboratories. You've got to have laboratory staff. You've got to have, all sorts of things.
Yeah.
So,
and that's what someone said on Twitter.
Actually,
that they had a flat rate, and then they had a lab fee on top of that.
A lab fee based on, and I think, yes, technically, realistically, they should charge more for EE education over something like that because the expenses are higher to the school. So
maybe, but
that's a natural thing.
Here's the thing
I think that's natural.
I'll tell you what you think. I think I
just told you what I think.
Oh, I'll tell you what you think.
That's the end of the story.
I think if they really were serious about need though, right? So this is positive feedback, right? So you charge more. Using your stuff makes sense, Dave, right? So labs are more expensive. That makes sense. But
I always make sense.
Yeah. But the thing that would really the bad situation would be if it was actually what they're saying, where, they make more after school, so, engineers should be charged more. Well, that's a positive feedback system, because if you charge more for students to go into engineering, less students are going to engineering, right? Less students go into engineering, less students come out of engineering, there's less supply, now the demand gets higher, engineering salaries go up more, therefore tuition has to go up more, and eventually we have one engineer who makes $1 bajillion, who's so sought after, and so instead what they should do is try and really, they shouldn't do this at all, I think. I think even the lab idea is kind of ridiculous, because I don't pay for the football guys, to go run on the football field. Anyway, or they don't pay for themselves.
I think it's perfectly acceptable if your field of study requires a hell of a lot more resources than something else. You should naturally pay for that. I have no problems with that at all.
I don't think so.
If the school wants to absorb it and everyone pays the same fee, I'm happy with that too. But I have no problem with somebody charging more because it costs a lot more. And I'm talking a hell of a lot more to maintain.
They don't charge the football players more in order to, go run on the field.
For what? For
fields are expensive.
Fields are expensive to maintain.
Anyways, what I'm saying is, if they're really smart about it, they would subsidize engineering tuition, and I'm sure this will get a lot of people pissed because nobody likes the word subsidy. They would subsidize engineering education. Tons of people would go into it. Tons of engineers would come out, and they'd start making crap, right? They'd make no money anymore, and it would equate itself. So if they're going to do it, that's the way they should really do it. If they really want English majors to make the same as engineering majors, then that's how you equate the situation, in my opinion.
Right.
Anyway. Yeah. So good luck with that.
It's all pie in the sky stuff. It's,
Good luck, University of Nebraska. I've never met any of your engineering graduates, and I'm not sure I ever will.
Well, out there, if you're out there, tell us.
good point, yeah.
Has your university do they charge more?
Yeah,
for
that would be good.
Edge? I can't remember mine. It was too many. It was 20 years ago. I can't remember.
Yeah,
sorry, but
I had a technology fee because they put in all this crappy networking equipment in the early 2000s, and so I had to pay $400 a year for that. But other than that, no, mine is flat rate. And really expensive. Okay. And I'm still paying it off.
Right.
Damn it.
I paid mine up front.
Smart man.
You actually got a cash discount if you paid up front. You got like
smart
40% discount or something. Yeah, I'll have that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
All right, I think our amp hour is up.
Come on, we've got a minute left, haven't we?
I don't know. Nope. I think we're done.
No, come on. We started at
all right, one more. How about this thing from Reddit I saw? This is pretty cool. Did you see this?
Shoot.
Someone on Reddit, so scanlime.org, they put a single inductor onto 2 pins of an AVR microcontroller, and using some of like the idiosyncrasies of the chip, like the protection diodes on the input. That actually powered the rails, and then there's like natural capacitance on the chip, so it actually held some of that power. So basically, they can use it as an RFID tag. So all they did is they programmed the chip, they put an inductor across the thing, across 2 of the leads. I'm not sure. I think they're 2 of the input pins. That powered the chip when you blast it with RF energy, and then it can bounce back a signal. That's brilliant. That's pretty cool.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, thumbs up for that one.
Yeah,
there it is. There's the photo of the chip.
Yeah,
and an 8-pin dip. Yep. With an inductor just
hanging off there. That's all it is.
Just hanging onto it.
Yep. And then I think
it's the size of $0.25.
I think she put capacitors on there later to help it along.
Oh, it's a she, is it?
Yes.
Posted by Beth. Yes, yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, she's got a really cool site. I like that site a lot.
Okay.
And but it's a cool project. Who would have thought of that? I mean, like that's just really cool. So.
That's just great. Yeah. That is brilliant.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Hats off to that one.
Yes, definitely.
Very cool. See, that would have won a contest.
Oh, I don't know what contest though. I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah, I guess are there AVR contests? I've never heard of one of those, but I'm sure there have been.
Oh yeah, they had. Yeah, I entered an AVR contest.
Cool.
Quite a few years ago.
Nice.
Yeah, one squat.
Well, no one was voting for you then.
Shut up. No, it's not vote. It's a panel of judges.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Yeah. Fantastic. All right.
Now can we end the amp hour, Dave? Is it okay with you now? We can end
the amp hour, and maybe we'll have a song at the end. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it'll just be me singing about Dave and how he messes with people.
Let's just steal something.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, who cares about copyright? No one's going to find us, right? We're just some tin pot radio show.
Yep. Well, this week, if you... so remember, if you want to talk about Facebook in the comments section, we'd love to hear about that. What else is on there?
Your uni stuff, if you want to comment about that.
That would be great. Yeah. I think that was it, right? And anything else, of course.
And if you want to bash on Element 14, go for it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true, too. All right, cool. Well, good amp hour, man. Nice and quick, like usual.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you next week. Well, that's it. Show 42 all wrapped up.
Thanks for all the fish.